Many studies reveal that fathers play a crucial role in their child's life, affecting early development, school success, and overall happiness. Today on City Chat, David Fluellen, founder and CEO of the Urban Family Development Center, and Councilmember Bankston join us today to talk about Dads2B, a program that was recognized by Columbus City Council this year for their dedication to fatherhood. Councilmember Bankston, David Fluellen, thank you so much for joining us on City Chat today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, awesome. Glad to be here.
You know, I am just curious, kind of an icebreaker question. How are you guys friends, or did you guys know each other before the City Council resolution for Dads2B?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we've definitely done some community work together, and I've seen David at afar and always seen the work that he's doing, whether it's leading his own organization now or organizations that he worked for in the past. And so this has just been an opportunity, I think, for us to grow that bond and to get to know each other even more.
Could you tell us about the Urban Family Development Center and what inspired you to establish the organization and the programs that you guys offer?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, thanks for having us. So Urban Family Development Center was founded in 2014. Wanted to have an opportunity to give back to those less fortunate that were looking to re-enter society, who had maybe made some challenging decisions in the past. And then in 2015, we had an opportunity to develop a fatherhood program, which is our Dads2B program. Wanted to take a closer look at the role that dads played in infant mortality and supporting their mom throughout the process.
Councilmember, could you talk about the partnership and support that you have for Dads2B, what initially drew you in to this, and why it means so much to you?
Yeah, I mean, Dads2B is an amazing organization. They have been a partner really from the beginning of Celebrate One on the front lines of our infant mortality crisis and us combating it. And so for me, whenever we have an opportunity for dads to step up and for dads to be a part of not just the parenting process, but the birthing process, it's a no-brainer for me. And so being a father is the most rewarding and most challenging task that I have had in my life, but it is something that has made me a better person. And what I can tell you is that organizations like Dad2B are necessary, because those support systems, oftentimes we think of just mom. When we think about the birthing process and all the things that are necessary and everything that you see, but dads play a huge role in that, in those healthy outcomes, and making sure that mom's birth is stress-free, making sure the home is set up. You know, I became Tim the two-man tailor, putting together cribs and everything else in my son's room. And so whenever we can have opportunities to encourage dads to be in their lives, it's something that is absolutely something that I will always raise my hand to do.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear that perspective. You know, me personally, I'm in this phase of life being, you know, the mother and the wife. I don't credit my husband enough, I would say. And I'm curious about some of the stories, some of the needs that you see in the organization, or if there's like a program for like angry wives, like a support line for these dads.
I don't need any more ideas at all. My brain is running 1,000,000 miles per day. So yes, the need for support, as Nick was stating, for dad and mom are at high level. And so as Nick was stating, dads play an essential role in the healthy birth outcome of mom. And for a long period of time, dad hadn't gotten recognition in that lane. Right. And so what we did is we provided a space specifically for dad. And we wanted to make sure that dad understood that he does play a crucial role in the successful birth outcome of mom and her pregnancy. And so what we get to do is help him understand what that role is. Because at when you first hear it, you're like, what role do I play? I'm not carrying a baby. But when you start talking about the mental health, when you start talking about support during prenatal visits, when you start talking about just being there beside mom in the birthing room, it goes a long way. And so many of our moms, to your point, have reported that they feel so much more confident in having a baby, knowing that dad is there, present and by their side.
Yeah, that's so important.
And it's also critical, right? And I think studies have shown, David, that when dad knows what's going on in the birthing process, when he understands is present at appointments and it can be there, he can advocate for not only the mom, but advocate for his child, right? Because that birth outcome is not simply about a mom who's carrying the baby, it's also about the baby who's in there. And so Dads2B is really that resource to help. There is no playbook about being a dad, but there's books out there that you can read, but nothing beats that one-on-one mentoring, that one-on-one firsthand experience, that support group that you have. When you have that moment and you're about to break down, and all of us have been through it as parents, like, I don't know what to do, this kid is crying, I'm gonna go crazy, right? And to know that you're not alone in that. That's what Dads2B is there for dads in our community.
That's really special. You guys, you had your first Family Ties fashion show event. Can we talk about that event and how it went and what we can expect next year?
So it was amazing. The goal there was to, one, again, talk about the significant role that dads play in the infant mortality space, but we also did our official launch of our Day One Dad campaign. And so the campaign goal there was to really have a conversation about how we change the starting line for fatherhood, right? So fatherhood starts at conception. The moment that our partner informs us that we're expecting a child, the clock starts ticking, right? And so we want to make sure that dads understand that again, the role that they play from conception to birth and then up into that first year of life. And so we had a phenomenal panel discussion with some community leaders, include Mr. Bankston, and we really want to begin to move the needle and also want to make sure that our dads are engaged, encouraged, and empowered during this process. The barriers to fatherhood are real, but the opportunities are real as well. And so we want to make sure that dads in the city of Columbus understand that they don't have to go at fatherhood alone. Dads2B is here to help them and to make sure that they have the resources. But we dig a little deeper than that. Only a portion of our dads understand their full role, but we also want to make sure that dads have those essential needs. Employment, career path planning. We want to make sure that the dads understand what financial literacy is, because so many of our dads come from urban inner city communities where unfortunately they hadn't got that information. So we really want to take a closer look at the social determinants of health as well to see how they're living at home. How's mom living at home? What does home look like for them? I could talk all day.
You should, that's great. That's such cool information that's so needed, and I have a feeling that there's so much to cover about what Dads2B does. Thank you for sharing that.
And I will have to say, the fashion show was amazing too. Now I'm hoping that next year I get to be in the fashion show. They left me out this year. And, I try to be a fashionable person.
We didn't want him to outdo the dads. We didn't want him to outdo our dads.
I didn't make the cut. I didn't make the cut.
No, you definitely have the height for it, Councilmember. Can both of you guys share something important about fatherhood and what it means to you?
Yeah. Fatherhood to me, it means guidance. It means legacy. I was blessed to have an amazing father, one who disciplined me, one who nurtured me, one who loved me and raised me. And there's a lot of folks who can't say that, but I can tell you I'm the man I am today because of the values that he instilled in me. And so to be that guide for my son, and when I think about my legacy, it's not about what title I have or what building is named after me or how much money I make. It is he going to grow up and be healthy? Is he going to grow up and be successful? And is he going to grow up and be better even than I was? And so for me, that's really what it is. It's about legacy, and it's about guiding someone. It is, I think, the most important and the most amazing job for me, for God to even trust me with that task, to be able to raise another human being, right? And when you think about it, it's daunting, and it can be scary and frightening, but you don't have to go at it alone. And that's why Dads2B and the Day One Dads campaign is so critically important, is that fathers have to understand that, yes, it is an immense pressure and it's an immense task, but you don't have to do it alone. And the beauty of it is that you're going to make mistakes along the way, but you have a support system around you with organizations like Dads2B. But for me, fatherhood is a blessing. It is absolutely a blessing. And so for me, it's about my son and him being in the legacy and carrying out what he wants to do in his life.
That's amazing.
Yeah, legacy. I grew up in a single parent household. My father was around. I went on the weekends. Grew up in the urban inner city community, and so everything that most dads from the urban inner city are faced with, I was faced with that as well. And so to get to do this work, to provide tools and strategies to dads who that for the most part didn't get that, is just amazing for me. Because we learned how to be dads based off of what we seen on TV, what we heard in our music, and what we found out is that a lot of that wasn't correct. And so we get to come in and say, this is what a family model looks like. This is the role that dad plays in families. Now that changes based off of the family, but for the most part, we get to at least have the conversation. So we get an opportunity to sow a seed, water it, and watch it grow, which is amazing. And I'm too, like Nick, I'm just blessed that I get to do this work. Never in a million years that I think I will work with pregnant women and babies. But I'm up for it, and it has been a phenomenal ride. I'm just so blessed to get to work with so many our black and brown babies die at 4 times the rate as white babies. And so we want to make sure that we are leading the cause as dads. We're not waiting for someone to come into our communities and tell us how to fix the problem. We want to be a part of that solution. So you can go to day1dad.com. It'll take you right to our info page. You can also check us out on social media, Urban Family Development Center or Dads2B on all of our social media platforms, Instagram, you know, all that other stuff, TikTok, X, all those places. Yeah.
Thank you guys both so much for coming on and talking about this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome.
I'm Josie Smith. Thanks for watching City Chat on CTV.